Hey, it's Timmésha Burgess, creator of this here Fireside Chats for Global Women, because turning pain into power is sexy. I am also the CEO and creator, founder of our community, the lifestyle brand, where I am redefining power and individual value. I wanted to come on here really quickly to talk about something that I deem imperative as you are on this journey of activating your power. If you're on this journey to activating your sensual and sexual energy for mental health and personal development, this message is for you. On my personal Odyssey, I uncovered so many things about myself, things that have kept me stuck and stagnant, things that have kept my power suppressed in the darkness of my body, of my mind. And as a result, my life has suffered immensely. Um, you know, for me and for so many of you, the very thing that you may dislike or despise may be the very doorway you need to walk through in order to activate your power, in order to come into the mission and purpose, in order to come into your mission and purpose, in order to come into the very reason why you were born at all. And so this video, I'm going to title it, I think I want to title it Colors. And here's why. So as you can see, I'm wearing the color red. And in most of my videos, you probably see me wear red a lot, whether it's red lipstick or red nails or red clothing. But do y'all know, you don't know, but I'm about to tell you right now, that I used to despise the color red. I used to loathe the color red. I used to hate, literally, the definition of it, the color red. I remember as a kid avoiding anything that was red. I didn't even have anything red in my closet. I think the one thing I did have was a red dress, and it was really sparkly. I remember it was like a tutu type of dress. It was kind of close to the body here, and then it flared out like a tutu dress, and it was red, and it had sequins all over it. And it was something that my mom bought me when I was very young. I don't know, maybe like 8 or 9 years old. And I remember she put it on me sometimes when we'd go to church sometime. And I hated that damn dress, y'all. I hated that dress because it was red. Here's what I discovered, and I'm sharing it with you because for you that it's meant for, and you'll know that it's meant for you. But here's what I discovered on my Odyssey, through my mind, through my body, asking questions in my life about who I was, who I am, what am I, and why am I even here? Why I hated the color red. As I delved deep into the energy centers in my body, particularly as I have been on this journey of uncovering what sexuality truly is for those of us on this journey of personal development and mental health, right? I despise the color red because that is where I needed and required the most work in my life. I despised the color red at that young age, and I didn't know why I despised it, but I despised it and I didn't know why, because my sexual energy, my sexual chakra, the root chakra of my body, the doorway to my or through my sexual prowess or energy or wisdom had been compromised, had been tampered with. So for those of you who've been on this journey with me for some time, you probably read an article that I wrote, I don't know, back in 2018. It was titled, Anxiety Speaks, What Is It Trying to Tell You? That was the first article I had ever published publicly on my own. I've published articles before. Those of you know that I've been in media work for some time. I was a journalist with a couple of companies, award-winning journalist. So you know that I've been on the media journey. So I have some published articles out there, but they weren't about me. They were about other people that I was interviewing. My first published article that I published about myself and about, the shadow elements in my life, the hells that I've been through in my life, was this article, Anxiety Speaks. What is it trying to tell you? In that article, I disclosed my experience with molestation when I was very, very young, younger than 5 years old. And I remember it vividly. And I was molested by a female babysitter. And so as I journeyed through some of this work and uncovering some of these traumas and childhood traumas that I experienced, the working through the root chakra, those of you that know the root chakra is represented by the color red. Because that had been compromised in me from a very young age, I hated the color red. And I didn't know why. This was on an energetic level. But I could not stand it. I did not like to see it. I did not even like to color with the color red. I didn't like to wear it. I didn't like to have it in my vicinity. And I didn't know why at that age, but I knew I hated it. And so as I've been on this odyssey of uncovering some of the philosophies that I've developed and the motifs that I've gathered from ancient ideologies and bringing it to the forefront in modern day and sharing it with women and girls who have experienced some sort of sexual trauma, such as rape, molestation, sex trafficking even, FGM, female genitalia mutilation in all of its forms, forced prostitution, unwanted or unplanned pregnancy. What I've discovered is that through the work of the root chakra being represented by the color red, the reason I despised it was because that was the place that I needed the most work. That is where my journey needed to begin for me. And today, you guys, ladies, whoever and whatever them they you are that's listening to this right now, I cannot go without wearing the color red in my day-to-day. From hating it to loving it, from pain to power, right? This is what this means. And so I wear the color red, not because I'm trying to make a statement, but because it resonates with where I am energetically now. It resonates with the work that I've done on myself and in myself. So I wear the color red a lot because, number one, it's a power color. It's a passion color. It's a sensual and it's a sexy color. Obviously, I wouldn't have known this when I was younger than 5 years old, but having done this work and come into my own power of who I am and why I'm here and my purpose and my mission in life, I wear it because it calls to me. I wear it because it is, for me, energetically symbolizing that I have regained and activated my crown, beginning in my root chakra, doing the work down there. Okay, so I'm calling this colors because I want those of you to know that if there is a certain color that you may dislike or despise, really dive into the reason why you may dislike it or despise it. It isn't just about making a fashion statement. It isn't because it just doesn't go good with the color of your eyes or your shoes or whatever. There's something much deeper, because no one can essentially teach, well, I can say no one, they can teach you, but you're not typically taught to despise wearing a certain color, you know. I remember having a conversation with an older woman that I knew some time ago when I lived in Arizona. I used to work, one of my many jobs that I have had in my life, and I've had a lot of them. I used to work at a modeling agency in Phoenix, Arizona when I lived there. And the CEO and owner of that company's closed down now, but her and I got back in contact years later. I think we might have gotten back in contact sometime in 2021. And I searched for her because I think she was just an awesome boss at that time. And I really loved working at that agency and loved working with her. And so I reached back out to her, and sometime in 2021, I was able to find her, and we talked, oh my God, for so long. And we kept in contact for, you know, some months, almost a year, and then we've lost contact again. But I remember having a conversation with her, and so much had happened in her life throughout the years that she felt comfortable to divulge to me. And I remember asking her what was a color that, we were in a meditation. This was all over the phone. So we were in a meditation. I remember asking her what color stuck out to her the most, you know, that either that she liked, really liked, or that she wished she had more of, or something to that effect. And the color that came up for her was the color purple. And it just so happened that what she was going through in her physical body at that time resonated with the color purple. And I won't go into details about what she was going through personally, but I will say by the end of the conversation, she was already making plans to go to the store and purchase an amethyst so that she can sleep with it under her pillow, as I suggested that she do, to help with the healing that she was working on, recovering and activating in her body. I think I spoke with her maybe a month or two after that, and she was already seeing transition, not only happening in her body, but happening in her life and happening in her mind. And we've lost contact since, but I figured my work is done, right? You know, people, they get what they're supposed to get from you. You give what you're supposed to give, and they go on. And that's a beautiful thing. That's the whole point of healing and activating your power. So I'm sharing this with you because I want you all, for those of you this is meant for, to really focus on the color spectrum as it relates to your body, as it relates to your life, as it relates to your aura, as it relates to the work you're doing in and on yourself, and hone in on the color that stands out for you the most. You may see flashes of colors in your mind's eye. You may have a certain resonance with the color. Again, this is particularly about something that you may dislike or despise. Delve deeper into why that is. What is it about that color that you dislike, that you despise? What does it remind you of? And then ask yourself, well, why do I dislike this color? Where does it come from? Where did it stem from? And I'm not saying to do this work so that you can start wearing the color, but once you start doing this work in yourself and on yourself, there'll be a part of you that desires this color on deeper levels, than you can imagine. I don't know why I'm getting tongue twisted, but on deeper levels than you can imagine. So try this practice on yourself. Incorporate this in your life and let me know what comes up for you. So I'll go back. So as I started doing this inner work, from writing that article, Anxiety Speaks, what is it trying to tell you? For me, what came up for me in writing that article was what was being said to me through my experience of what I thought was anxiety. Now let's kind of break down anxiety for a minute, okay? So anxiety. What is anxiety exactly? Outside of what any therapist or traditional form of therapy or therapist could tell you. My New Age philosophy on what we think is anxiety is really energy and power bubbling underneath the surface. A power that is knocking at the doors within, asking you to let it in, asking you to awaken it, asking you to acknowledge it, okay? So when you feel this rise of anxiety in your body, it is your power that is wanting to rise, something that you should be giving rise to. And the more that we ignore it, try to turn away from it, try to suppress it, try to take a medication to calm it down or whatever it is, we are suppressing this power. And so the work to do would be to allow it to awaken, allow it to activate, allow it to wake up inside of you so that it can communicate with you and tell you what it needs for your well-being, for your own guidance. Allow ourselves to listen to this angst that comes up. What is it that you're trying to tell me? What are you exactly? These are the types of questions to ask yourself. And so as I was on this odyssey of uncovering why some of these energies were showing up for me in my life and why they seem to increase over time, they increased over time because I was ignoring them. This power, as long as it sits inside of you with nowhere to go and nothing to do but to continue to be vilified and depressed by you, it grows up, it gets larger, it gets bigger over time because we've ignored it. And imagine it like an inner child that we've ignored, that we haven't spoken to in a very long time. And this inner child is growing up, right? It is aging, it is evolving, it's not able to fit in the places that we have kept it suppressed and tucked away in our bodies. And so as long as we're tucking it away, imagine something big like that growing up inside of you, and you're tucking it away in these spaces in your mind and your body, and it has nowhere to go and nothing to do. of course you're going to feel these energies bubble up and increase over time. And so as I started to do this research and on myself, in myself, looking out at the world and seeing some of the things that, or listening to some of the things that people say they were experiencing on this journey, this is what I'm here to share. So yeah, y'all, doing this inner work, uncovering these ideologies about sexuality and sensuality, what we're calling sexuality and sensuality, because it begins down there in the underworld, right? I love the what should we call that? The analogy of mentioning the underworld, because that's where everything begins. It begins in this shadowy, dark underworld place that we have been continuing to ignore for too long. We've been taught to be afraid of the underworld, have we not? We've been taught to be afraid of the shadows. We've been taught to be afraid to go into this darkness. And this is where everything begins, y'all. This is where life begins. This is where knowledge begins. This is the doorway to all of the information and knowledge that you need to know and have about yourself and who you are and what you are and why you're here. So if you really want to cultivate your own personal development, if you really want to cultivate your own mental health, you will begin down here, down there in your underworld. Always begin at the very first threshold, the doorway, which is down there in your root chakra, right? You have to start at the foundation and work your way up to your crown. So I just wanted to share that. I hope this has enlightened you on some things. Hope that this helps you on your Odyssey through your personal development and gaining your mental health and unleashing the power of your sensuality and sexuality for more reasons than just one. If you're not subscribed here, please do. To those of you who are subscribed here on Fireside Chats for Global Women, thank you for being here for as long as you have. To all of the newbies, thank you for coming here. Obviously, what I'm sharing speaks to your soul on a deeper level, and I'm excited to know that. Follow me on Instagram, Timmésha Burgess. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn under Timmésha Burgess as well, and on Facebook, Timmésha B Speaks. And follow our communities page. It's ALCHEMINITY on Instagram, and make sure to get you some merch. If you haven't already, please order your copy of Activate, Unorthodox Philosophies that explore anxiety, depression, and suicidal thoughts as symptoms of suppressed superpower. Make sure you actually read it, okay? Let me know what you think about it. I am available for speaking, conferences, seminars, webinars. You let me know. Fill out a contact me form on my website, TimméshaBurgess.com. There's some new things that I'm going to be bringing to the forefront really soon, so make sure you stay connected with me on all of my social media profiles to stay in the know of what is coming next. I hope you all are having an amazing summer, and I will see you on the flip side. Remember, turning pain into power is sexy, and I can't wait to see what you activate, what you unleash, and what you awaken from down below. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.